All right. Russell, what are your thoughts on the UFOs that were intercepted and shot down by the U.S. military last month? I don't know if they're referring to the Chinese balloons. They were not UFOs because we know what they were. They were Chinese balloons. But there were other things. There were some things that they shot that we didn't get, and we don't know what they are. And there are the things that we haven't found out what they are after we did shoot them down.
I wonder whether or not the $14 trillion that have been granted to the Pentagon, 55% of which has ended up in the hands of the military-industrial complex, which surely American people are becoming weary of, needs occasionally to be boosted with fanciful ideas of extraterrestrial invasion. Maybe there needs to be a continual reminder that the skies themselves could become a threat unless Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, BAE Systems continue to profit. Elsewise, a balloon, a perfect metaphor, for it is naught but hot air, nothing inside it, shot down by a $400,000 missile, might be coming for your family.
In a vibrant clash of intellect and rebellion, Bill Maher and Russell Brand captivated the audience, their encounter symbolizing the tension between established pragmatism and rebellious critique. Maher, always the incisive provocateur, attempted to impose structure amid chaos, while Brand, with his sharp wit and poetic rage, effortlessly shattered societal norms. From TikTok's dangerous grip on youth to corporate hypocrisy choking real progress, Brand's fierce revelations kept Maher constantly adapting. Their heated exchanges transformed even abstract concepts into emblems of societal unrest, crafting a conversation that was both electrifying and relentless. We were simply noting that skepticism and open-mindedness are vital, and it's possible that life from other worlds is observing, or even visiting us.
I mean, we were just saying here we all should be skeptical and have open minds on everything. It is possible that there's life on other planets that are visiting us or scouting us. I mean, there are even the U.S. Even the U.S.
You've upset him.
I'm just saying it's possible. Carl Sagan said
it is possible.
Okay.
But if you think that something from another universe came all the way here and was just kind of dragging around and was shot down very easily, I think if it's a UFO, they would have done a little bit better in avoiding and evading that kind of missile.
First of all, we're not saying it's from another universe. We're saying it's from the same universe. The universe is very big. Very big.
Bill, I think Bernie raises a good point. It's not like E.T. would come all the way here and then trip up outside Elliot's house. He's made it all the way here.
I agree. No.
That's the point.
That's the point, Bernie.
Okay. The Chinese balloon is different. I'm not saying the Chinese balloon was from another universe or this universe.
I mean, it would have to be from China. Yeah. If it's a Chinese balloon, and I mean that with all due respect, that's the least it can do.
Well,
Russell Brand's perspective on the military-industrial complex centers on the idea that fear around extraterrestrial threats may serve more to maintain lucrative weapons contracts than to address genuine security concerns. He ridicules the notion of deploying expensive military resources against objects like balloons, framing it as a symbol of wasteful spending and misguided priorities. This critique ties into a broader narrative where defense budgets swell through the cultivation of catastrophic fears, real or imagined. Brand connects these patterns to the profits of major defense contractors like Lockheed Martin and BAE Systems, exposing a mutual dependency between fear-driven politics and corporate profit. He questions whether institutions like the Pentagon amplify public anxiety to secure ongoing funding, suggesting that this distracts from urgent global issues like pandemics, climate change, and inequality. By highlighting these historical patterns, Brand encourages a deeper inquiry into whether such fears are leveraged to serve elite agendas rather than genuine public safety, pushing for a redirection of resources towards real-world problems instead of perpetual militarization.
I was going to say, I think that's...
I'm moving on.
The obvious...
You brought Bernie back out here. He won't be happy if you're going to talk about extraterrestrials and balloons and that.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're looking
inequality.
If you're looking for proof that there's life in outer space, intelligent life in outer space, you need to look no further than Russell. There's not really another accounting for how
I'm glad that became a compliment, sir, because I was rearing up.
No, don't you worry. Only compliments, my friend.
With all the emphasis on DEI, are we confusing equality of opportunity with with trying to guarantee equity in outcomes. Okay, that's interesting because I think this word equity has come into the language in the last few years, and before that we didn't hear it a lot. And I think a lot of people hear equity and they hear equality, that like it's the same word, and it's not the same word in the same concept. So how would you differentiate between equity and equality?
Well, equality, we talk about, I don't know what the answer to that is. Come to think of it, equality is equality of opportunity. All right? We live in a society, we want all people to have whatever color your skin is.
Equity, I think, is more guarantee of outcome, is it not?
I think so. I think that's
okay. So which side do you come down on?
Equality.
Equality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bernie Sanders fervently stressed the indispensable role of labor unions in maintaining a thriving middle class, portraying them as vital to economic justice and opportunity. He condemned the aggressive union-busting strategies of corporate giants like Starbucks, Amazon, and Apple, accusing them of undermining workers' rights to organize for better pay and conditions. Sanders highlighted findings from the National Labor Relations Board, which documented over 50 violations by Starbucks of federal labor laws, illustrating a broader pattern of corporate duplicity, publicly promoting progressive values while resisting meaningful worker empowerment. Sanders warned that weakening unions would hasten the collapse of the middle class, widening economic inequality and destabilizing communities. He called for strong legislative and public support for unionization, citing initiatives like summoning Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz to testify before Congress. Sanders framed this battle as essential not just for individual workers, but for upholding the social contract essential to a just and functional economy, aligning with wider critiques of corporate America's prioritization of profits over people, and advocating for structural reforms to protect labor rights.
Boys, any comment on that one?
I just don't know if that's the definitional difference, but certainly this debate over the question of equality of outcome over equality of opportunity is one that has been. It's the question that underlies affirmative action and everything else that we've had in our politics for a very long time. And there's obviously people very strong, even people who actually want equality of outcome say they only want equality of opportunity, and vice versa. But that's that issue, that core of that. What do you actually want? And I think Bernie is where everyone says they want to be, but there are in fact programs that have been designed to actually engineer equal outcomes, not just equal opportunity, and that's where a lot of the controversy has arisen.
Okay, one more. Have Democrats done enough to support strong labor unions, Bernie? What's the future of unions in this country? I think they just subpoenaed the Starbucks dude.
They didn't, I did. That's not fair. No, look. We're not going to have, that is an issue I do know something about, and that I pay attention to. And the bottom line is that you're not going to have a middle class in this country unless workers are able to stand up, organize, form unions, and negotiate for decent contracts. And what we're seeing right now is more and more workers wanting to form unions, but you're seeing companies like Starbucks and Amazon and Apple and other large corporations really engaging in illegal union busting. So we have asked the leader of Starbucks, the head of CEO, Howard Schultz, to explain to us why he thinks it's acceptable that over 50 occasions the NLRB has said they have broken federal labor law in breaking unions. So we hope to have him come before our committee. There will be a vote on Wednesday, a vote on subpoenaing him.
And it does seem like there is a strange sort of hypocrisy there, because these are usually liberal companies. I think Whole Foods also. And it's like they care a lot about the indigenous people of the Bolivian Andes, but not about some worker in Cincinnati.
You got it. All right. They're very liberal about everything except whether workers can form a union and earn decent wages. They're very liberal except whether or not we ask them to pay their fair share of taxes. They're not so liberal then. That's right.
Thank you, everybody.
This criticism also touches on the larger problem of corporate liberalism, where companies champion ideals like diversity and sustainability for public approval, but fail to practice these principles internally. Sanders used the National Labor Relations Board's case against Starbucks as a clear example of this double standard, arguing that such behavior not only harms workers, but also diminishes trust in corporate commitments to social justice, exposing them as mere public relations strategies aimed at preserving profits. Sanders insisted that confronting this hypocrisy is critical if America aims to create a truly fair and equitable economy. So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.